Fabi, kann man hier nichts machen mit den Talus, macht es total irre. Keine Möglichkeit bei ihnen. Okay.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and apologies for the slight delay for us getting this race underway this afternoon. Some problems earlier on during the qualifying for the Hankook 12 hours here at Mugello, with a bit of a problem on the external part of the track between Arrabbiata 1 and 2. And that has put things back just a wee bit. However, the good news is we have got all but 4 of the KTM crossbows for the crossbow battle on the grid at the moment for a race that will be the full 25 minutes. Manfred Wolf, the man who is head of PR and customer racing for KTM, is alongside me. I'll chat with him in a moment and he'll bring you up to date with 1 or 2 things. But let me first tell you that Jared Kiska is not on the grid in 19th position in the number 18 car. Jared was out in the qualifying session, and or his car was at least, and he is preferring to set himself up and concentrate on preparation for the first part of the 12-hour race. Gerald is, of course, the designer of the KTM crossbow and therefore not a full-time entrant into this series, so he's decided to get his head straight for the big race. Sadly, Riccardo Cecchioni is not on the grid either. The 49 car, which lost a wheel early on, has not been able to be repaired in time. So Riccardo, I'm afraid, for Stray Cat Motorsport, not able to take his place on the grid. And we have got a couple of cars, Manfred, that will be taking part in the race but aren't on the grid just yet.
Yeah,
good afternoon, by the way.
Welcome from my side. Good to be here. Yes, we have 2 rally drivers with us that raced the Austrian Rally Championship, and you know, rally drivers tend to be lost without their co-drivers. So it seems they were just late for the exit of the pit lane, and now they are in the pit lane and they will take the start at the end of the field.
Right, that's OTL, overtime limit in rally parlance. So they will join into the action once the cars have gone by, when they've been released from the green flag. It will be a rolling start. The 5-second board is out, so at the back of the grid it'll be Felix Haffer in the 83 car. The 10th row isn't there then, with Riccardo and Gerald, as we've mentioned, not there. The 9th row on the inside, it will be Jan Ries in the 90 car, Tassilia Bayern in the 84 alongside, then Gerwald Grösling in the 85 and Hubert Trunkenpolz.
Grösling is one of those 2 starting out of the pit.
So he's in the pit lane, yes, of course. Then we have the third. Who's the second driver of the?
Chris Rosenberger.
Yeah, yeah. So he's then the next row up. So Leon Vastenhurer is on his own in position 13, with Chris Rosenberger starting from the pit lane. The 2 rally guys will have to fight as to who comes out first there. They'll be doing rock, paper, scissors for that at the moment. Daniel Haffer in the 80 is in P11. Nicholas Stumpf is in P12. Patrick Singh is on the inside of the 5th row. That's 9th position in the 91 from Matthias Peltzmann in the 81. And Patrick had a 3rd place in class last time around. We're getting into the guys who were battling for the podium positions in the 3 classes. I'll give you details of those in a moment. 45 Bob Bow on the inside of the 4th row. That's position 7. Marcel Matjovic is in the 86 6 car, which is in 8th position. Top 3 rows, Thomas Verstappen in the 15 car in position 5. In position 6, Enzo Bonito, who was a winner in his class in the first race. Georg Silbermeier, now he is fast and he's off position 3, so he's a row further up than he was last time around. Can he manage to challenge right at the very front? He's got Holger Baumgartner alongside him. Klaus Angerhofer is on pole position, and alongside him, Ender Erdem. Now, 3 different classes of cars. The GT4s have 360 horsepower from the 4-cylinder inline Audi TFSI engine, which is mounted amidships, of course, on these carbon fibre chassis cars. Paddle shift, 360 brake, and a full enclosed cockpit and aero. Fantastic looking machines, and indeed the GT4, exactly the same as the GT4 cars that are taking part in the Hankook 12 Hours first part of that race, starting in just over an hour's time. The open top cars are split into 2 categories. The elite cars have the same specification of Audi 4-cylinder TFSI engine, the 2-litre pushing out 360 brake, but that's an open top car, and it has a 6-speed H-pattern gearbox and therefore 3 pedals. No rev matching unless you're heeling and towing. It's a real analog version of the car. Remember, no traction control, no ABS either. These are drivers' cars out there. The rest of the cars are the rookie class cars for people who have little or in some cases no car racing experiences at all. They're effectively an arrive and drive formula. They all run from a central point by KTM Racing themselves. They are the same open top chassis as the elite car, but they have a slightly different state of tune on that engine down at somewhere near 300 horsepower. And in case you're wondering, the GT4 cars are a little bit heavier. They're 1,000 kilograms. They probably could be a little bit less than that, but that's how they're homologated for GT4. And even running in this crossbow only championship, KTM have made, I think, a sensible decision to run them at the GT4 homologation so that everybody gets used to them. And it means when you do go into the GT4 championship, you're not having to find something new. The open top cars, both versions of the open top cars, just under 800 kilos.
So around 800 kilograms.
Yeah, 790, I think you told me earlier on. So there's a little bit of a weight advantage for the open top cars, but they don't have quite the sophisticated aerodynamics of the closed cockpit cars. But I tell you what, around Mugello and just over 5 kilometers, it's a really interesting balance between a well-driven open top elite car. And we had one of those earlier on with Georg Silbermeier, who really wanted to win the race, and he'll want to win this one. And the 2 guys ahead of him, Ender Erdem and Klaus Angerhofer. Klaus has just been out on track qualifying the KTM GT4. Not the same car he's driving now, but an exactly similar car for his team in the 12 hours. So at least he knows the conditions, and that might be a bit of an advantage, because we seem to think, Manfred, that the wind might be getting up a bit here.
Yeah, the wind is quite strong now, and obviously it could be a little bit of an advantage for Klaus that he knows the conditions out on track now exactly. On the other hand, the car, you mentioned it, the car that he drove now in the qualifying for the 12-hour race is slightly different. It has a little bit more aero, and so maybe it's also handling a little bit different. So we have to see how he can adapt to this situation.
So the green flag formation lap is running. 25 minutes on the clock, and that will stay on the clock until we come round and get the green flag to start the race. 25 minutes click down, we go round, we go round, we go round, we race, we get 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 cars abreast. Yes, it's that close, particularly in the rookie category. Watch out for some great battles down the field. The battle for 3rd down to 6th or 7th in our first race today was spellbinding. 25 minutes comes up, and as soon as the race leader at that point comes back across the start-finish line, that's when the checkered flag comes out. Now, obviously, if he's coming out of the final corner at turn 15, when the clock runs down to 0, the checkered flag will come out straight away, and that will be the end of the race. But as happened in the first race, the leader was probably about 100 metres past the start-finish line when the time elapsed. So then he was allowed to complete that lap, as were everybody else. So that was 25 minutes and a bit that we got there. So the most it can be is 25 minutes plus 1 lap, which is round about that's going to be an extra 1 minute 50 or something like that. So that gives you the idea of how it's going to go. This is the first race weekend of 10 races across the weekend in the European Championship. 10 races across the season, excuse me, 2 races per event. And a European season that is very well established now, Manfred.
Exactly, we're doing this since 10 years, and it's a Jubilee season. And this year we've got, normally we had, in the past years we had 6 events, this year 5, but we changed to only Formula 1 and MotoGP circuits. Right. So it's now Mugello, then we are going to Brno in Czech Republic. Then we have our big home event at Red Bull Ring in Austria.
Who are you supporting at Brno?
At Brno we will be together with Histo Cup, which is a Central European series with historic cars but also modern cars.
And then after that?
After that we are together with DMV GTC, the second league of GT3 cars in Germany, on the Nürburgring.
On the Grand Prix circuit.
On the Grand Prix circuit, yes. And the season finale will be together with the Blanc-Pain Sprint Series at Hungaroring. Also a beautiful track.
Fantastic track. So that's how it lines up. If you want to know more, find the series website, use your search engine, and arrive and drive for a whole season. Manfred was telling me 45,000 euros, which sounds like a performance bargain. You can even rent a helmet and a set of overalls if you want. Now, that will decrease pro rata as the season goes on, of course. 25 minutes on the clock, and the field is under the control now of our pole man, Klaus Angerhofer, to the pit lane side. The red lights are on, the green lights come on, we're racing. That's a very even start this time. Ender Erdem, who didn't get the best of starts in the first time of asking, is challenging. He's got his nose ahead and down the inside. Here comes George Silbermeyer in the open top car. It's going to be side by side in the braking area, but the pole man Angerhofer does manage to get that orange car ahead. Everybody else filters through. I hold my breath for a moment as they go through the S's at the top of the hill for the first time. Had a little bit of contact there in the first race, but that looks clean, and Angerhofer has done it again. A couple of cars lengths between himself and second place man Erdem, and Silbermeyer in third place.
Yeah, and it seems like poleman Enzo Bonito, so the poleman of the Rookies Challenge, he lost some places there. He lost 2 places, and also another Rookies competitor has passed him.
So that is not just a couple of places lost to other competitors, but the main one, the lead of the rookies class. Now, Angerhofer paced himself perfectly in the first race. He didn't push too hard early on, but he had something left in his Michelin slick tyres at the end of the race. But he's gone off hard here, and he's broken away just a tiny little bit from Ender Erdem in second place, Georg Silbermeyer in third, then Holger Baumgartner holding on in the no, that's Thomas Westerp who's got through.
Yeah, exactly. Thomas Westerp is on P4.
Yeah, so he's got through. Holger Baumgartner goes down a position, and then the battle for the rookie top spot. I think it's Markovic, Marcel Markovic in the 86 that's gone through to lead that, Manfred.
And it's quite interesting because Marcel Markovic is coming out of a driver's search of a big German newspaper. So he won the Super Racer Challenge, and he's performing extremely well. But to say he's one of those who already made some races last year, so he's experience on the car.
Great to see that KTM with the crossbow battler getting involved in a lot of different initiatives to bring new people into the sport. You know, we have a virtual racer as well, who did very well in the first race. Driver talent search. How important is it for KTM as a brand and KTM Racing to associate itself with the very grassroots of racing?
Yeah, I think it is really important, and things, you know, like sim racing that grow bigger year by year is something that you can't ignore, and you have to include this in your program. And on the other hand, we are really focusing on getting new people into the sport, also people that did track days or whatever, and say, okay, now I want really to start to race. And I think therefore it's ideal to start with the Rookies Challenge.
I mean, as a standard road car, the KTM is a fabulous road car, but it's almost tailor-made for track days, and a lot of your customers buy them and run them on the street, but also clearly take part in KTM organised days, but also general track days as well.
Yeah, the good thing is that the Crossbow is basically a racing car that was made street legal and not the other way around. So when you take it to the track, it's where it belongs, really.
Yeah.
And due to its lightweight construction, it saves you tires, it saves brakes. So it's really cool for track days and even better for racing series.
As we can see here, as we are now coming through to the end of another lap, and Klaus Angerhofer has put a second into the field here as he heads down to the final corner and doesn't have to think about any kind of defence there from Under Erdem, Turkish driver, in second position, and the gap about the same, I would think. Georg Silbermeer is the best of the elite class runners in the first open top car in third position overall. Now, they were all very well behaved. That is Thomas Verstappen, who is Verstappen, that is in fourth position in the 15 car, then Baumgartner. And let's see who comes through next. I think it's going to be Patrick Singh who's leading the rookies. No, Benito's got past.
Yeah,
and then Patrick Singh.
His lead back.
Side by side.
And there's Bob Bau in the middle of it, and behind Bob Bau we have the next rookies drivers, which are Marcel Markiewicz and Matthias Peltzmann.
Well, across the line, Patrick Singh was scored for a moment in the lead, but it looks like Enzo Benito has gone back into the lead in that blue, or at least with the blue front end on the 87 car. Yes, that's how it is. That's the rookie championship. 300 horsepower to play with those cars. Third position for Bob Bau. Not his real name. That's a racing pseudonym, if you will, a nom du cause, as the French would say. That's the car that looks like it's in manufacturer's camouflage. I promise you there's nothing different about that car. All of the bodywork is exactly the same as the other open top cars around it. It just looks a bit different because that colour scheme tricks your eye.
Exactly. We've partners of our racing series is Michelin as a tire supplier, and Valvoline is our oil partner, and so we have those color schemes on some of the Rookies Challenge cars.
Got you. Because they're run by KTM Racing.
Exactly.
Yes, understood. So this rookie battle, as they settle down into the third lap of racing, should I say, 1:56.8 by Ender Erdem, the Turkish driver, in second position. Now that's quicker than I think we went in the first race from memory, and that is very impressive indeed. And he's brought the gap down to the leader, down to 0.8 of a second. There's a great battle going on at the moment further down the field.
Yeah, I think this is Tassilo von Bayern against Jan Ries, and attack from Tassilo on Leon Wasserteurer. So there are two Germans and one Austrian fighting.
14th position overall, but that's 7th in class. This is exactly the kind of racing we can expect to see all season. And we should say as well, if you're enjoying this today and perhaps you're not a regular watching the KTM Crossbow battle, although it won't necessarily be us in the future from RSL and the Creventic series looking after the streaming, there is going to be streaming coverage of all the races this year.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
new for this year in this 10th anniversary
season. It's for the first time that we've got live streaming from all our races, and it's something that is really important for us. When we look at this great fight, two of those drivers are directly coming out of kart, so we'd like to give them the opportunity to present themselves and also their sponsors. So I think that's the way to go.
93 made that move. That's Leon Wetterhurt, one of a phalanx of German drivers, German and Austrian drivers making up the bulk of this, but Enzo Benito flying the tricolore for Italy and doing that very nicely at the moment as he leads the rookie class. This is the battle further down the field with Wasserteurer in that 93 car. He's made the move and immediately made the break, and that's not easy to do. Remember, these cars absolutely identical, and particularly in the rookie category, they're all prepared by KTM Racing. So no advantage at all. The drivers, though, I presume, Manfred, can make one or two little setup changes?
No setup changes, just the tire pressure can be done by the driver.
Right.
And even to the fact that, or further to the fact that all the cars are exactly the same spec and we are preparing the cars, when the driver arrives to the racing weekend and when he's going to the administrative checks, he draws his car. So he draws his car.
So he draws a chassis number.
He draws a chassis number, exactly.
Brilliant.
And so at every race weekend you have another car, so that really it's the same for everybody, and it's just about the driver's performance.
That. As we always say in England, the difference is the nut at the end of the wheel. 87 going through, and that is our leader in the rookie category with the Valvoline colours on the car, the famous red, white and blue of the oil company. And that looks a very settled platform, doesn't it? From that number 87, Enzo Benito, 6th position overall. He's just done a 59.3, so under 2 minutes for 5 kilometres around here. That tells you he isn't hanging around. Behind him, it's Bob Bow, who's gone past Patrick Singh. So Patrick Singh back down into 3rd position. That's where he finished the first race of the season, which was earlier on today. He'll be disappointed with that because he was having a good run, Patrick, and had been leading that particular battle. And Patrick is, well, actually, I apologise because he's in a different category, isn't he? Because Bob Bow's actually in the elite. So Patrick's
Bob Bow is in the elite category, and Patrick is on 2nd place at the moment in the rookies category. And but he's charged hard by Matthias Peltzmann and Niklas Stump behind him. We just saw that. 3-way fight here. So
take a breath for a moment if you are just joining us. This is Mugello. It's a beautiful early spring day afternoon here with the sun shining. It's not perhaps as warm as our television pictures would have you make out. There's a chilly breeze blowing across the circuit here, which is in a natural amphitheatre. So in most places you're out of the wind, but when you are in the wind you do feel the difference in the temperature. The track, which has been improved and resurfaced since the last time that Krevennik were here, is racing very well indeed. Angerhofer still ahead of the game, goes through, completes another lap. Erdem in 2nd, Silbermeyer first in elite, goes through in 3rd, then another couple of GT4s for Westarp and Baumgartner. Then the first of the rookies, Benito, and he's now going to have trouble because Bob Bow is catching him up now. Does Benito fight to keep his 6th position, or does he let Bob Bow go through because he's not in the same category?
I think he wouldn't go in for a fight because it doesn't matter for the win in the rookies. At the moment we are looking at Holger Baumgartner, who switched from the elite category to the GT4 category, and I talked to him after the first race and he's still trying to adapt to the new car, which is he's a bit unused to it, so he's still improving.
So there are significant differences, of course, between coming up from the open top car, even with the additional power of the elite class. Paddle shift, of course, probably having to do a little bit more left foot braking with the 2-pedal car, so new things to learn, and a different aero package will mean the car has different strengths in particularly, I would think, the quicker corners. The car will really be sitting down in the quicker corners.
Yeah, exactly. And then the biggest thing for him that he reported is the braking, because the open top car, the elite cars, they don't have ABS.
Yeah.
And the GT4 car has ABS, so that changes very much the way you're approaching corners, and
so you'll be braking later and later on as you go towards the corner, so from much closer to the turning point and all the way up to the apex. You tend to trail brake in ABS cars, GT4 and GT3 cars, and that means you really do have to learn how to left foot brake, otherwise you're losing speed, and you balance between how hard you push the brake. If you're not used to left foot braking and all you've been doing is banging a clutch down, your left foot is actually quite insensitive, and it takes a while to educate your left foot. Angerhofer has gone through 1:56.2 for Angerhofer, so he's reclaimed the fastest lap. Ender Erdem in second place, 56.7 last time around, so it's back up over a second again. Georg Silbermeyer not hanging on to the two GT4s as well as he did. Made a little mistake on that last lap and dropped down into the high 57s.
Yeah, it seems that he couldn't keep up with those two in the front at the moment. Önder is trying hard to keep up with Klaus, so that maybe he has later in the race a chance to attack him again.
Now, this is a fiercely competitive series, Manfred, but it's also a very friendly one. You have centralised catering, so everybody's got to eat together. Is there a good competitive but family atmosphere?
That's exactly what it is all about. It's we are not wanting the racers and the guys sitting in their own garage and don't talking to each other. So that's really different with us. Everybody's joining, everybody is talking about the races and about the stuff afterwards and having a beer together. And I think that's for an amateur racing series, also it is very professional, but for an amateur racing series, that's the way it should be.
Well, it's still got to be fun at the end of the day, hasn't it?
Yes,
These guys are pretty much all paying for their own racing. You've got to enjoy it, or else why would you do it? Big moment there for Under Erden. Got the car very, very sideways in the middle of lifting the right front wheel off the ground. The car hooks up. Now, that shows you how much grip these cars got. I commentated on RC racing, and we would have called that grip roll in RC racing. So much grip from the back axle that it actually popped the front wheel off the ground and then began to rotate the car too much, and the back end of the car starts to slide around. That shows you how much mechanical grip those GT4 cars have got, and that is the overriding comment that I've had from drivers, how comfortable, how confidence inspiring these cars are to drive. But my goodness, they've all talked about how much grip, and the lap times that we see here, which are comparative with any GT4 full house GT car at the front of the field, that comes from the pace through the corners from these KTMs.
Yes, exactly, and that's also why the open top cars are keeping up with the GT4 cars really well, is with those fast and flowing corners here with 200 kilograms less, you're really fast.
Yeah. Battles in the rookie category stream across the line. It looked like there was a big move going to go on from Tassilio Bayan, but he didn't make that stick. But just ahead of him, Vassenhira having a look down the inside and does make that one stick and goes through on Daniel Haffer, the number 80 car, and that was a pass for 6th position in the Rookie Cup. This is going to run all year like this. You know that these guys, particularly in the midfield, don't have a lot of race car experience. In fact, for some, it's their spin over the curve, and that's going to be oh dear, that is the 84 car. That's Tassilo. He was pushing hard coming out the final corner, and then he's just overcooked it early on. That's the first S's. That's going to bring a code 60 out.
For sure.
Went way over the curb as he ran up the hill and through what is effectively a turn 3, Borgo San Lorenzo, and got
went into the gravel.
He just hooked the inside Michelin's into the gravel. And he might have got away with that there if he'd opened his hands up and straightened the car out, but he was trying to get back on the track and just lost the back end, slams the steering wheel with both fists in sheer frustration. He knows what he's done there, and that was absolutely induced by himself. A tiny little mistake. And you're going to see this because these, as we were just saying, are not experienced drivers. Yes, he made a mistake. He might have got away with that if he'd just been very, very gentle with anything, but instead he tried to hold the car back and the back end broke.
Yeah, and that's a mid-engine and rear-wheel drive car. When you stay on the gas, then you lose it in that moment.
Yeah. Needed a bit of the rally driver skills that the other guys have got Grussing and Trunkenpolz. Now, they have joined the race, by the way, but they were held at the end of pit lane after the leaders had gone through. So they're a lap or so down, but they did join the race. Fastest laps last time around for Holger Baumgartner, for Bob Bow, and for Felix Haffer, their own personal fastest lap. Fastest lap of the race, still the 56.2 of Angerhofer, who is still at the front of the field. Now, code 60, if you haven't seen this before, this is something that is very particular to Creventic racing. Think of it, we've had it a long time in Creventic racing. A full course purple, I often call it. Very similar to having a full course yellow, except there's no safety car out there. So the closest thing to describe it as, Formula One have taken it on, they call it virtual safety car. So really there should be no gaining, no losing either, but no gaining. 60 kilometers an hour, which is why it's called code 60. Because there's no safety car out there, you don't pack up behind the safety car, but it also means that once the hazard has been cleared, and you can go green at any point on the circuit. So you don't have to wait for everybody to get by. We don't have to worry about opening and closing pits here because this is not a pit stop race. And the very efficient track services marshals here doing their job. But basically all the lap times will go out. Everybody knows, because it's 60, you see, it's a very easy bit of calculation to do. So the lap length, whatever that is, then it's just 60 seconds per kilometre. So it's very easy to work out how many minutes it's going to take to go around the track. And what the race direction will be looking at is each individual sector. They know how long that is as well. And the sensible guys will have given their drivers target times for each of the sectors. So a little bit of weaving going on, just trying to keep temperature in to the Michelin tyres. Maybe they've gone offline and they're just trying to clean them up a little bit. It's not going to be long before we're off and running. We're going to have about a 5-minute dash to the flag here with just on 6.5 to go. Here's how it stands. Angerhofer leads in the 16 from pole position. The front row starter under Erdem, the 65 in second, and they are pretty much together on the racetrack. The best of the elite category cars, the number 7, Georg Silbermeyer, in third position, but he's now a good 10 seconds further back down the road. He's lost a lot of time there in the last couple of laps. The best of the rookies, Enzo Bonito, is in 6th position. He's got about 3 seconds on Bob Bow at the moment, but remember, these are gaps running slowly, so they're exaggerated. That's why that gap from Silbermeyer to the leaders has gone up a wee bit. But the battle from, well, certainly... Oh, Patrick Singh is back up into 2nd place in the rookies. That must have happened just before the Code 60 came out. Markovits has dropped down to 3rd, then Peltzman with 5.5 minutes to go. The 88 car on screen at the moment is Niklas Stump, who is in 9th position. He's in rather elegant isolation at the moment.
Oh, there was someone in the grabber trap.
Oh, that was him. That was like. Niklas.
Yeah,
because
Niklas was in a grabber trap.
Yeah, Nico's been off, and there's just looking at the trail of gravel he was leaving in the dust there, Mumford. So, has he lost a position there? We'll see him next timing line. The Tassilo Bayern car is being looked at by the recovery crew and hopefully craned out of the way with the snatch tractor. And we're back to green, so it's done. Yeah. So there's the advantage, you see. Angerhofer already back underway, and the 14 car of Holger Baumgartner, the blue and yellow machine, gets up to pace very quickly, and Thomas Westerb has been a little bit slow getting up to pace, and there's an opportunity to go onto a podium position for that dark blue and yellow car. You really have to be on it. No pits to car communications here, of course. The drivers are on the road?
Normally in the GT4 cars, yes. In the Rookies Challenge, no.
Right.
But it seems that, yeah, they just missed it, both, because it was for a long time green when they were still coasting. So that will be interesting now, who will be on the GT4 podium.
That dark blue and yellow car with the green flags across the start-finish line, and looks like he's got to run to the outside. Here comes Baumgartner. He's got the overlap. Now, can he get to the inside, or will the 15 of Thomas Westerb be able to break him? The very, very good racing by both these guys. That's fair. Racing room asked for and given, and toughed out on the inside. It was the right part of the track for the 15, and a spin for the 8-7 car. That's Enzo Bonito, the leader in the rookie category, and that was Matthias Peltzman going past him. He's lost that position. The marshals are trying to help him, but that looks like no engine in that car. He's trying to refire it at the moment, maybe not being able to get the car refired. He's looking at the marshals, and they're saying to him, right, are you going to get started soon, or are we going to have to get you pulled out of this? Still green at the moment. That is big news for the rookie category. And pole sitter and winner of the first race, and he is dead stick at the side of the track. Super driving, by the way, for both the drivers that we were looking at earlier on. Thomas Westerb.
And Code 60 again.
Yeah, Thomas Westerb and Holger Baumgartner. That was great driving. Just what Manfred Wolf was saying early on about the respect shown as they go past the stricken car. Well, credit to race control. They didn't throw the Code 60 until it was very obvious that the leaders were going to come round to that position on the track. But that battle side by side into turn 1. Great stuff, hard racing but fair, and credit both drivers for that. Holger Baumgartner certainly could have pressed around the outside and squeezed down to his right. And also, of course, Thomas could have moved out and tried to take the line away, but they didn't. They held their line. There was no moving under braking. That was very, very competitive, very hard, but very fair driving, and that's what you like to see, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But coming back to Enzo Bonito, it looks really strange. Also, the place where he's stranded is I have no idea what happened there. Did he spin on?
For me, I think he's probably locked up the rear wheels on a down change, or maybe just locked the wheels and spun the car, and then somehow he can't get it restarted. That would be my guess. He has driven these cars before. He raced this morning very, very well indeed. I remember the first time I did a saloon car race, I forgot to ask where reverse was on the car, and I got spun around, and it took me too long to find reverse, and after that I was struggling all the way through the rest. But it's not the thing you ask about in a race car. Yeah. You know, these are the things. So you've got to ask, if I stall the car, is there an interlock? Are there two buttons I have to press? Have I got to keep the clutch down? I mean, all of that sort of thing.
The thing is, you have to press two buttons in our car, but yeah. I'm sure that we told him. So maybe he forgot it in the
heat of the moment,
in the adrenaline rush or something. It's really a pity, because he did great during those 2 days.
What's interesting to me is that it didn't seem that those marshals could move that car. Maybe it's locked in gear. Red flags are out with less than a minute to go. We weren't going to go back to green. That's a sensible decision. So the provisional result will have Angerhofer taking his second win of the weekend from Erdem. Third position overall, and winning in elite category, Georg Silbermeyer with the rookie win. Now, we had a code 60 before the red flag, so Matthias Peltzmann is scored as the winner in the rookies from Patrick Singh in second and Marcel Markovic in third. I will pause at that point and see what the decision is. However, the man that was leading caused the red flag, and you seldom are allowed to benefit from a red flag. And it did call code 60 first. So I think, unfortunately for Enzo Bonito, he will have lost that lead that he had. The red flag is out, and most of the field are coming back into pit lane. And I think the leaders went through because the red flag only came out as they had already passed the pit lane entrance, and their session will not be resumed. So a slightly disappointing end, I'm sure, for some of the competitors, but on safety grounds with that car stranded and with time running out anyway, completely sensible. Manfred, congratulations for another great year of this championship, and to you winners. Thank you for bringing this to us. I'll keep in touch. I'm very interested in this, and you must be very excited for this 10th anniversary season.
We are, and it was a great thing to join Creventic Series, and we hoped for 2 more races to join, but it didn't work out because of the season planning. So maybe next year, not only 1, but maybe 2 or 3 races together with Creventic.
Well, I'm sure you'd be welcome back here anytime, and we've thoroughly enjoyed a great addition to the paddock. The cars are exciting. They are known to many of our fans as well, and I'm hoping that some of the Creventic fans, with a bit of tweeting and a bit of promotion from Creventic and from us here at Radio Show Limited, have crossed onto this stream to watch some of that and have enjoyed it, and they will join you for some of the other races this season. I'll shake your hand and say congratulations. You've done a cracking job. You've been here right from the start.
It was a pleasure to be here, and hopefully see you soon again. And of course I stay, because we've got 4 cars in the 12-hour race.
So you'll be supporting those guys as well, of course. Give our best to everybody back at Graz, not only at the racing side, but also on the road car side. Making exciting, different, quirky cars is so important, that everything doesn't just look like a square box, and you guys are top of the class when it comes to that.
Thanks. We give our best. Thank you.
We'll have the podium coming up in a moment or two. It's Joe Bradley that's down there, and if we can, we will get that to you on the stream. Let me just give you the full finishing positions in each of the classes. All provisional at the moment. In the rookie category, Matthias Peltzmann, the Austrian driver in the Austrian car, 6th overall in the 81. Provisionally wins it from Patrick Singh, who goes one better than the first race when he was on the 3rd step of the podium. He advances 1 step in the 91. The German driver then takes 2nd. Marcel Markovic in 3rd position in the 86 in the rookies. In the elite class, that's the higher powered of the open category cars, still of course with the H-pattern box and 3 pedals, Georg Silbermeier in the number 7 car, 3rd overall and winning the elite category from in 2nd place. And that was Bob Bauer, wasn't it? Yes, it was, in the 45. And I think they were the only 2 finishers in that class. Yes, they were. And that leaves the GT class. Our overall winner wins that. Another Austrian on the top step of the podium. That's Klaus Angerhofer, who has a perfect weekend. 2 poles, 2 wins to take into the start of the 2019 crossbow battle season. From Ender Erdem, the Turkish driver, well, he's got 2 front row starts and 2 second places, so keeping the pressure on Klaus, the 65 car in 2nd position, and 3rd in GT for Thomas Westarp, who had to fight hard to keep Holger Baumgartner back, but it is the German in that particular battle who got the better of the Austrian, so it's the 15 car driver Thomas Westarp who completes the podium. The trophies, the Michelin trophy, Michelin podium hats, and indeed the laurel wreath are waiting for our drivers. They have gone into the back of the paddock and will be introduced to you in the 3 categories by Joe Bradley. And I don't know if Joe can hear me at the moment. I'll wait to see if he is able to talk to us. But certainly the preparations have been made.
I'm not sure.
If you'd like more details about that championship, the crossbow battle, then they have their own website, as you might imagine, and starting its 10th year, so you can check out all the details there. Joe Bradley is on the podium at the moment. I can see you there, Joe. If you look straight across the track to the camera all across there, that's the one that's shooting you.
We're going to use.
I'm not sure whether this is going to... Oh, it does work. Fantastic. Yes, we're just waiting for the results to be posted, and then we'll be joined by... We've got no drivers here.
Step into the middle of the podium, Joe. It's not often you get your moment.
Yeah, I'm going to stand on the podium.
Fantastic.
See what it feels like. It's been a long time. Yes, it's very nice.
When was the last time you stood on the top step of a podium, Joseph?
Would have been Spa in 2007 as team manager for a Clio Cup team.
Look at the...
To take the team's trophy.
Yeah. It's not the same as being a driver, though, is it?
No, no, no. It's been a long time since as a driver. Jeez.
I'll ask you the same question as I did to Nick Damon.
Yes.
Earlier on. You don't have to do housework while you're
I have. There's a little screw here.
Oh, don't throw it into the pit lane.
No, I'm not. I'm going to put it down here.
I'll ask you the same question as I asked Nick Damon. That looks great value. 45 grand for
absolutely
45,000 euros for a ride and drive for 10 races.
10 races, 4.5 grand a race. That's about right. They're not making much profit on that.
No,
I can tell you.
No, you've run cars before.
That is not much profit. We were running Clios pretty much towards that kind of figure over 11, 12 years ago. So that is great value. And I think Manfred explained, you know, the drivers, they turn up in their race suits and helmets, they can get involved as much as they want, but all of the hard work, you know, the packing the truck, the bringing the cars, the transporting of the cars, the engineering of the cars, which is pretty difficult. When you first start racing, the driving bit's the easy bit. It's the learning how to prepare the car,
it's the
and
logistics
set the car
as well,
up.
just getting it there.
And the logistics is massive, massive.
Not having to put
racing's fantastic.
Joe, not having to put, I remember when you were racing your pre-73 Formula 4 back in the UK, not having to get up at dark in the morning and put the car on the trailer and hitch the trailer to the back of the car and then drive away and realise you've forgotten your race suit because you've been too busy putting everything else on, or something else equally as important. I mean, that's a great way to go racing. But what it retains is still a 3-pedal car with an H-pattern box. So all of those drivers have had to learn to heel and toe.
once you've driven a three-pedal car with a box that you have to heel and tow, anything else after that, as you move up the ranks and get involved with, you know, different categories and different series, that everything else is so easy. Everybody should start with a three-pedal car. It learns you the dexterity of a ballerina. I think you used that term once.
Piece of paper in your hand. It's all yours, Joe. I'll let you call out the winners.
We've got the results.
Race.
We're still waiting for drivers, so we'll chat amongst ourselves, Hindhoff and I.
OK, no problem. Joe Bradley's examining the results sheet. There will be 3 podium celebrations as there were in the first race. And don't forget, you can see all of the races, or should I say, remember, you can see all of the races streamed for the KTM Crossbow Battle for 2019 via their website and their YouTube page as well, where you can get the up-to-date information on the drivers, the point standings, which will be updated for the first 2 races. Even I can tell you who's leading the points at the end of this first couple of races, because even though arithmetic and mathematics was double period on a Friday afternoon in my school days, which meant I wasn't there that much, Klaus Angerhofer it has nailed it this weekend with 2 poles and 2 wins. The second race with a curtailed 9-lap run to the flag. He also took the best lap, I think, in both of those races, a 56.2 for that time. So the true racing driver, truly top of the class for as far as the GT4 cars are concerned. I can see that Manfred Wolf is down there on the podium. I'm going to just be quiet for a moment so he can do a TV interview.
I'm not sure if you can still hear us, John. I'm sure you can. If all the drivers from the crossbow race, if you have had a class position, we need you up on the podium. We've got some trophies to present to you. We're just running an interview with TV. I know time's running short, so TV might leave us, but we're trying our best to show that. We've got 3 classes to present. Elite Sprint, which is where our overall winners came from, the GT4 Sprint class, and the Rookie Challenge. And when Claudia tells me that we've got the first drivers to go with the podium ceremony, we shall get well and truly on with it. Trophies to be presented, national anthems, and then we've got the champagne time. Gentlemen, we're ready to get on with our trophy presentation for our crossbow championship race. First, the elite sprint class. Please welcome to the race in second place, Bob Bow. Do we have Bob? Bob, well done. Second place for the elite sprint, and the winner, George Silbermeyer. George. And they're going to be presented with their trophies first. It's Georg Silbermeyer, our winner, and Bob Bow, first and second. Claudia about to give Jorge his trophy. And a beautiful golden garland. And we have our trophies now. And now, please, the national anthem of the winning driver. Well done, gentlemen. We have champagne there for you to spray if you wish, or do you want to save it? Oh, he's going to come back. So that was our elite sprint podium there. Presentations there. They haven't seemed to bother with the champagne. Our rookie class will be our next presentation. And please welcome to the podium our third place driver in the rookie class is Marcel Markovits. Marcel, who is not here. In second place, Patrick Singh. We have no Patrick Singh. The winner of our rookie challenge in our crossbow race is Matthias Pelsman. All right, Matthias, off you go onto the first step, and we'll the other rookies will. The rookies are coming. It's a learning and development experience for them. So Matthias Pelsman, well done, Matthias, being presented by Claudia. Here is our third place driver, Marcel Mekshevitz and Patrick Singh. Patrick on the second step. Well done, everyone. And with the trophies being presented, please now the national anthem of our winning rookie driver. That's great, gentlemen. Congratulations. And we're going to do this properly. The rookies may have been late, but they are going to spray the champagne. And as soon as they've sprayed the champagne, we can clear the podium, please. Well done, guys. That's the way to do it. Our next class to be presented with their trophies is our GT4 Sprint class. Congratulations, guys. If you would like to bring your trophies and come off this way, gentlemen. Guys, if you could get your trophies and make your way off the podium, we'll just replenish the champagne and trophies for our GT4 Sprint. And we're going to quickly get on with this straight away. While we're doing that, in third place, please welcome to the podium in third place, Thomas Westarp. Thomas. Well done. And in second place, Onder Erdem. Well done, Onder. And the winner of our GT4 Sprint class, please welcome Klaus Angerhofer. Trophies to be presented, as we can see, once again by Claudia. And third place, Thomas Westarp. In second place, Onder Erdem. And the winner of the GT4 Sprint class is Klaus Angerhofer. Beautiful golden garland once again for our GT4 winner. And we'll be going off air of our TV stream and leaving you for our crossbow podiums. And we'll be going down onto the grid for the big race. And we're about to play the national anthem of the winning driver for GT4. I bid you farewell.